we're on the right track. We won't turn back. We're on the right track. We won't turn back. Amen. Y'all ready for a little bit of entertainment? Now listen, it's this group that I'm really inspired by, and I'm excited about these young ladies. I got a group of young ladies, five young ladies, and they're a beautiful group of young ladies. But what I think about that is most beautiful about these young ladies is that they're all sisters. Amen. Amen. There's 5 young ladies, and they like from about the whole teenager span. They like from 13 to 18, 13 to 17, yes. 13 to 17, and they singing for the Lord. Yeah. Amen. Amen. So if you would, put your hands together for C5. C5. Let me hear you. Let me hear you. C5 in the house.
Heavenly Father, you're the one we're waiting on. Because without you, there's no way that I can stay strong. I can't go on any longer on my own, so hear me when I say, Heavenly Father, we need your help today. Da-da-ding, ding, ding, ding. I'm ringing your bell. Yes, it's me. Yes, it's me. Come on, you're letting me in. I got to see you. I got to see you. No one else will do. I need your hand. I need your hand. You said it never there was a time I needed you. You would come through, and it never there was a time I needed you. Oh, Heavenly Father, you're the one we're waiting on. Because without you, there's no way that I can stay strong. I can't go on any longer on my own, so hear me when I say, Heavenly Father, we need your help today. Lord, I'm sorry for all the wrong I've done, and you say, you know it really doesn't matter at all, 'cause I'm gonna make it. Your word said I do, and I believe. You said it never there was a time I needed you. You would come through, and it never there was a time I needed you. Oh, Heavenly Father, you're the one we're waiting on. Because without you, there's no way that I can stay strong. I can't go on any longer on my own, so hear me when I say, Heavenly Father, we need your help today. Heavenly Father, we need your Heavenly Father, we need your Heavenly Father, we need your help today.
When I was about 17, 16 years old, I met a young man over on Woodward, and I sat down in his office and I said, Reverend, I'm a preacher. He said, you a preacher? I said, yeah, Reverend, I'm a preacher, and I want to come to your church. I want to become a member of your church. And he said to me, he said, well, why you want to become a member of my church? Why you want to come? I said, Reverend, I see what you're doing around across the city of Detroit. I see what you're doing across the country. And I don't want to be with no minister who just spent all his time in his office and don't never do nothing for nobody. I want to be with a minister who is about something. And that young man is Reverend Dr. Jim Holly. And it's because of Reverend Holly that I have a relationship with Reverend Sharpton, because Reverend Holly sent me over to Reverend Sheffield, and then Reverend Sheffield sent me over there. People just sent me all over the place. But the only one who really loved me was Reverend Sharpton. I want Reverend Holly to come up. I want him to give us an introduction to Reverend Sharpton, and the next voice you will hear will be that of our National President of the National Action Network, Reverend Al Sharpton.
His leadership indeed captures me, and yet his friendship includes me. My sisters and brothers, may I present our leader, the Reverend Sharpton.
No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? 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 All right. Thank you very much. Send it to Reverend Holly, who needs to go on the road with me to do that introduction everywhere. To all of the ministers of the gospel that are here, and all of our activists, and all of you that gather every Saturday morning, to my friend down through the years who has stood with National Action Network and me when it wasn't popular, Sister Mildred Gaddis. Give Mildred a hand. Mildred has stood with us when few would, and I really appreciate her friendship and I appreciate her. But let me say this, when I was 13, I was appointed youth director in New York of Operation Breadbasket under SCLC. And we started, at that time, Operation Breadbasket had started Saturday morning rallies. And the reason we would have Saturday morning rallies is, one, we didn't meet on Sunday to conflict with churches. And two, we meet on that Saturday morning so Bishop, we could leave and go out the rest of Saturday doing something in the community. All right. As years went by, Breadbasket died in New York. I started National Action Network in the 90s. And every Saturday morning from 10, well now it's from 9 to 12, for the last 21 years we've been meeting on Saturday mornings and it's live on the radio. Very rarely do I not be in Harlem at our headquarters on Saturday morning. Wherever I am in the world, I'm home on Saturday. This is one of the few Saturdays that I'm not in Harlem. And that's because there is not a leader that is more effective and more on the case and that I'm more proud of than Reverend Charles Williams. Come on, y'all together with that. Reverend Charles Williams. I've known him since he was a teenager. When I ran for president in 2004, he went all over the state for us, and I watched him grow. And he has taken the tradition of our organization and our Saturday rallies. He's told me a few months ago, we're gonna come to my church every Saturday. I said, all right. He said, I want you to come on Saturday. I said, all right, you pick a Saturday, I'm coming. Then he picked this Saturday. I said, this is the Saturday after the Democratic Convention. He said, well, you said you'd come. That's the Saturday I want. So I got somebody else to speak in Harlem this morning, but you know I must love him to be here this Saturday. But he is just 30 years old. And one of the things that I've known Reverend Holly all through the decades, one of the things, Mildred, that I have seen that is so heartbreaking is that most of our leadership act like it should end with them
and don't help bring on the next generation. God didn't start or stop with any of us.
That's right.
We should all work in our season and then help to bring on the next generation. If you read the Bible, everybody God called, he had somebody ready to come right behind him. That's why, Moses led the struggle. Brought him out of Egypt land, brought him across the Red Sea. When he messed up, Joshua just stepped up. If you watch geese fly, they fly in where they have a formation. Some geese roll this way and then this way, and there's one geese out front. The one that's on the point is the one that gets the wind first, gets all of the residue first, gets hit with all the bad weather first, and takes it as long as they can. When that geese gets weak, he just hits in the fold and another geese comes to the front. If you fly by yourself,
Say that.
when they weigh you down, the flight is over.
Yes.
But if we have enough sense to have formations, we should at least have geese sense. So that when one can't take the front no more, just get in formation, but let us keep going where we're going. And I'm glad we got a young leader like him ready and on the point. Give another hand, Charlie. Now, this week we saw the Democratic Convention. I sat there in Charlotte, Reverend Williams, his dad, everybody came down, and I watched from two perspectives. One, I watched how far we have come. And then I watched how far we've got to go. It is easy to get discouraged when you see what we are facing. Crime in our community. They're trying to take back our rights. They're trying to rob us of our vote. The economy is bad. Unemployment is high. There's a lot to be discouraged about. But then when I looked in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I thought about how just a few years ago, a black lawyer named Harvey Gantt ran for the U.S. Senate against one of the Southern segregationists, Jesse Helms. Jesse Helms put a commercial on the television talking about the black hand and the white hand and how the black hand was taking the white hand's job. And he beat Harvey Gantt on a race-based campaign. Jesse Helms is gone. But in his town, a black man, another black lawyer named Barack Obama was re-nominated for the president of the United States. It tells me if you don't give up, that you can make it anyhow. We ought to take today's challenges and face them knowing that we've come through a lot rougher than this. Let me tell you something. When President Obama took this country, when he gave him the keys to the White House, the auto industry was on the verge of collapse. What makes Detroit is the auto industry. people left the South to come to Detroit. We didn't come here to look at the lake. We came here to get a break. And we got that break working on the assembly line. We were the ones that worked and made General Motors #1. We were the ones that worked and made Ford what it was. We made Chrysler what it was. When those jobs were being taken because of the policies in Washington, it took a Barack Obama to bring this industry back. It took a new president that walked us from the brink of depression. People that talk about, well, I watch some of these people on these cable stations. Well, what happened with that hope and change? I tell you what happened. We were getting ready to have a depression. It changed now. General Motors is turning over a profit. Ford is back in business. Price is back in business. There's a whole lot of change if you work at Ford. In our community where we have an inordinate amount of pre-existing conditions, we can now get insurance for our children. That's a whole lot of change for folk that didn't have no insurance. We are allowing people that didn't believe in the change to tell us what the change is. We know the change. And we are people that know you can't do nothing overnight. Don't talk to us like we stupid. It took us years to get in this mess. We need more than 4 years to get out this mess. You gave Reagan 8 years, Bush Sr. 4 years, then Bush Jr. 8 years. Am I right? That means in the last 3 decades, 20 years of trickle-down economics, 20 years of the rich getting tax breaks, 20 years of them ignoring us, 20 years of them trying to break down our vote. And you want to give Obama 4 years up against the 20 years you had? Then they're trying to reinstitute policies that we know. You call it another name. But it is when Dr. King went to Washington, 63, he talked about governors whose lips are dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. The people like to talk about the I have a dream speech, but they like to go to the end of the speech. You need to read the whole speech. That's like getting the hallelujah part of the sermon and not getting the text and the points of the sermon. What Dr. King talked about was America giving the blacks, that time the Negro, bad check, and that there were governors whose lips were dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. What does that mean? That means states that had interposed their will over federal law and nullified the federal law. That's what interposition nullification means. Federal law says one thing, you're going to impose another. By imposing it, you nullify the federal law. So the federal law said that slavery is illegal. You interpose it saying, but in our state, Alabama, Mississippi, we're going to have it anyway, nullify that. Or that blacks couldn't vote, you nullify that. What you have in Michigan on the ballot is an attempt to interpose state law over your federal right to vote by electing your own officials, by nullifying that in a The Reverend, you don't understand, they've been mismanaging the money. Well, Bush brought us to the brink of depression. Did they talk about an emergency manager over here? Bush brought us into wars, chasing some weapons that wasn't there, and then gave billionaires a tax cut. And they never talked about a manager over Bush. We had to wait on the next election to get rid of him. Whatever is right or wrong with the officials you elect, you do not nullify the law. You wait till the next election. This governor does not have the right to impose his will on the people of the city of Detroit or no other city. We must organize, and we must get this vote out. One, you need to be voting no on this emergency management. And this ain't about the mayor or the city council, it's about protecting your right to vote. I don't know Mayor Bing. I'm not talking about Bing. I don't know Bing. I don't know the city council, nobody but Mildred, Reverend Holler in the airport. That's all I know. But I do know when your democratic rights are being threatened. And if you set up and accept a precedent, they will use it against the good and the bad. That's one. Two, I do know that one of the first places Romney went when he left his convention was Michigan, which means that if we don't vote, they're going to take this state because you were laying up somewhere home. Talk about Obama ain't black enough. Obama didn't come to my fish fry. We have as much or more reason to vote now than we ever did. So when we meet here on Saturday morning, we need to leave here registering voters. I don't care who they vote for. We need to register them and make sure they come out. And make sure that the numbers show. You want to stop them taking over your city? Not only do you need to vote about it, you need the numbers up. If they look on election night and Detroit is voting low, they say, see, they don't care what we do. They don't only look at who won or lost, they look at who voted. And when your wards, when your districts are low voters, they say we can do whatever we want to do. Do you realize that Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Roy Wilkins, Thurgood Marshall, all of them changed this country, most powerful nation in the world, and never knew what a fax machine was. They took rotary phones, sat in the back of buses, and turned this country upside down. Here you are with all this technology.
I'm doing nothing.
Got laptops all in your house. BlackBerry, 2 cell phones, internet, Mildred on in the morning, me in the afternoon, TV at night, and you can't get 5 Negroes together to do nothing. You got more to work with and get less done. Detroit didn't have none of that. It made Coleman young the man. You got all of that and can't hold what you got. Something wrong with you. Because you Saturday now. Well, what is the difference? We handle it this way. How you handle it? Yeah. If you're scared, say you're scared. Don't act like you got some new strategy. Don't act like you done figured out something we haven't figured out. If you're scared, just say you're scared and sit down and shut up and let somebody who's not scared stand up and do what we gotta do. I remember when I was running in 04. Had a debate right here in Detroit. Never forget it. Next week went down there in the theater, had this debate. I come off the stage, reporter come over to me from Detroit Free Press Building and said, Reverend Al, I said, yeah. He said, you did pretty good. I said, thank you. He said, I think you won the debate. I said, thank you. He said, you ought to be proud to be up there. I said, what you mean by that? He said, well, no, you're up there holding your own with governors and senators and all of that. You ought to be proud to be standing up there. I said, they ought to be proud to be up there with me. He said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, they were born on third base and think they hit a triple. I wasn't even born in the stadium. I born out in the parking lot, had to work my way in down through the bleachers. Didn't get on the bases, but we're on the same stage now. Which means if I had to come from further back and got to the same place, I must be stronger. I must be able to take more. So we want to mobilize this vote. We want to mobilize and register and get folk ready for November 6th because history will judge what we do or what we don't do. They're going to write history on November 6th. Question is what history they're going to write. People call me a rebel. I just don't believe in the system. The system will run whether you believe in it. That's right. You cannot believe in the system. You get out there and run a red light. The system will pull you over. Right. You go to the airport, the system won't send you through the metal detector. You cannot believe it all you want. You will have your not believing butt up against the wall and get patted down. Don't tell me what you don't believe. Let us deal with reality. We need to mobilize our votes like we never did before, and nobody got more to vote for than the folk right here in this town that has the most reason. With emergency management, the most reason. With these car manufacturing companies, no blacks in the country got more reason to vote than y'all do. Now y'all go Romney or Obama. Y'all know where I'm at. I don't even think you need to tell for who to vote for. We need to just register them. And tell them have good sense, do what is right. But let me tell you something. When we are in a time, I want to clear this up. People said to me, I thought when Obama got in, everything would be over. That's crazy. Obama winning showed what we can do, but it didn't mean it was all over. We still got fights to fight. Trayvon Martin this year. We still marching. We're going to Saginaw this afternoon. Still marching. Sometimes you can take a young man mentally challenged with a plastic knife and 6 cops stand around him and shoot 46 times. That could be your son. That could be you. We got to still continue to fight. This is not just about one man in the White House, it's what's happening in your house. And freedom comes from the bottom up. Kennedy responded to a movement. Kennedy didn't lead the movement. Johnson responded to the movement. Johnson didn't lead the movement. What we need Obama and his administration to do, we've got to build the climate. When Trayvon Martin's parents called me, I didn't even know what the case was. We had just done the walk, Mildred, from Selma to Montgomery. Spent 10 days out there. Many of you watched it. Reverend Williams and them were down there with us. We don't know about no Trayvon Martin. I've never heard of Santa Fly. They called me and Attorney Ben Crump called and said, we need you to blow this up. I said, well, what is it? They told me what happened. We jumped on and made it national. I know if you build a movement, the response will come. We called a rally. We brought 30,000 people down to Sanford. The Republican governor then appointed a special prosecutor. The next morning, Obama said, if I had a son, it would look like Trayvon. Because we raised it, he could deal with it. We have got to keep raising these issues. But you can't put people in power that will not respond. That's right. And that's our assignment. That's why I'm here this morning. And that's why you need to be here every Saturday and you need to be with CHB every day. We need to keep organizing. And we need to we don't need businessmen. I just was listening to the brother speak. We need to support businessmen like that. We need support ministers like those that are here. Reverend Holly. Got too many preachers out here now that are uninvolved and want us and want us to be happy with them doing well. I don't even know what kind of preachers they are now, Reverend Holly. You know, I used to go preach for preachers and they bring me to their study. But it ain't no studies no more, ain't no bookshelf. It's just a dressing room. Because we got a bunch of entertainers in the pulpit. They just go in the back and change their outfit like they the Temptations or somebody and come back out and entertain us. We need some folk that'll serve us. You go to the preacher's office, all he got is a mirror. You in the wrong church. Jesus said, I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was naked and you didn't clothe me. I was outdoors and you didn't take me in. Don't tell me how nice your car is, Reverend. Tell me where you driving your car to help the people that bought your car. So my challenge is that we've got to mobilize and we've got to be self-aware. Lastly, we got to go back and reclaim our community.
Yes, yes.
4 weeks ago, I started some in New York when Williams brought about 12 of y'all up, where we go out on Friday and Saturday and Sunday nights from 11 to 1 and occupy corners. We go, Mildred, to the corners that have had the most shootings. 12, 15 of them. I went last night. And we occupy the corner. Why? We want the thugs to know we're not giving you these corners.
That's right. That's right.
Just take it. Just take the corner.
That's right.
I said at Rosa Parks' funeral, Rosa Parks never made no great speech. She wasn't no orator. She just sat in the way. That's all. Dr. King preached. Haven't had to organize roses, so I'm just going to sit here. But she sat in the right place at the right time. It's time for us to just go in the corner and get in the way. If you just stand there a couple hours, drug dealer got to leave that corner. Right. Shoot 'em up guy got to leave that corner. We gonna choose a day and make the mayor, the city council, all the big preachers, we come out here one Saturday night, we just gonna take the corners. We need an occupied day in Detroit and let these children know we are still your parents. We are going to take charge of our community. We've got to recapture that. Imagine these young folk thinking that being a hoodlum or gangster is the way to be black. If you know, I have 2 daughters. They went off to college, said, now they're being told if you speak eloquently, if you well read, you acting white. So what does that mean? To be ignorant and street life is acting black? Blackness was never about how low we could go. Blackness was never about street life and thug life. Blackness was when it was against the law to read and write. We found a way to educate ourselves anyway. Blackness was about when we had no rights. We kept our families together and we lifted ourselves up. Blackness is not how low down you can be, it's how high you can reach. And we got to let these children know that. I remember when a few years ago, National Action Network and NAACP, all of us said, we're going to bury the N-word.
Okay.
All of us used it, but we got to bury it. We got to stop it. Some of my friends in the hip-hop world got mad at me, Red Mile. We going to say what we want to say. We got freedom of speech. I said, no, you don't. Yeah, we do. I said, no, you don't. You can't go in a studio and cut a record that is derogatory against any race but us. They will not put it out. And they shouldn't put it out. You make a record against the Irish, they won't put it out, and they shouldn't. Against Jews, they won't put it out, and they shouldn't. Against gays, they won't put it out, and they shouldn't. Because it's hate talk. So let me get it right. Call Irish a name, hate speech. Call Jews a name, hate speech. Call gays a name, hate speech. Call blacks niggas, free speech. You can't be that stupid. You can't be the only ones in the country they can call you whatever they want. We had a debate one night, BT, me and the rappers. One guy had what I call nigga fit on me. We were hollering all night, nigga, nigga, nigga. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna, nigga, nigga. I said, brother, we've all said it, but we need to stop. Nobody does that. We need to give our children a new self-definition. Nigga, 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 nigga. We argued 2 hours. Show was over, he went his way, I went mine. About a week later, I was on the road traveling, I picked up the paper, he'd been arrested. Got in some fight or something, they put him in jail. About 2 days after that, they called me from the headquarters in Harlem, said this rapper was on the phone, wanted to talk to me. I said, all right, put him through. They connected him to my cell phone. I said, how you doing? Man, I ain't doing too good. I said, what's the problem? Man, I got busted. I said, yeah, I read about it. You all right? No, I ain't all right. I need your help. I said, you need my help? Yeah, I need your help. I said, what you need me to do? He said, they violated my civil rights. I said, niggas ain't got no civil rights. is how you confine yourself. So we must bring back this sense of pride, this sense of self-definition to our community. And that is why we got where we are. That is why we've made the progress we've made. Our children need to know our story. They need to know when we had no rights, then we believed that God would make a way. That's why we talk about this, the Joshua generation, what did Joshua do? See, y'all talk about Joshua, don't know the story. Joshua was not the replacement of Moses. He was a continuation of Moses. And the reason why Joshua knew what to do is he grew up watching Moses. So when Joshua got to the Jordan, he knew what to